everyone, and welcome back to another video on my YouTube channel and part 6 of the Fake It and Make It series. Today we're going to be sharing the Scrapper Sketch Challenge with you, and you're going to be seeing the sketch we'll be creating on screen now. I want to apologise as my video will be going up a few days late. I had a horrendous problem with my audio corrupting when I tried to upload it to YouTube the first time, and then I had unexpected surgery and treatment. I'm using another wedding photo for this layout, and it was originally a 6x4. I'm just trimming it down to cut out the half of my sister that was lurking in the background, as I wanted it to be my husband and I. I'm also going to be using a 12x12 sheet of white cardstock and a 12x12 sheet of vellum with my kit for this layout. I'm now going to add a doily behind the photo, just of course using some double-sided sticky tape, and then I'm going to have a look at the paper scraps and the cut apart sheet that Julia chose for me in my kit. So now I want to start building up the layers behind my photo. As it is in the sketch, the photo is a 6x4, but there is offset layers and some texture. I wanted to keep as true to the sketch as possible, even if my photo was slightly smaller. And there's some beautiful papers in the Maggie Holmes balloon paper pad, and I can add lots of those without it being too overwhelming. I'm using double-sided sticky tape to adhere all of these, and I'm trying my hardest to not make them too uniform. Sometimes I'm very guilty of having them all be bigger sizes of exactly the same shape, and I wanted them to be raw edges, torn edges, a little bit of texture going on, so I'm trying my best at that. We'll see what happens. I decided to stay quite neutral with the photo layers. I knew that the rest of the layout would be quite busy, and there was only a few papers that I really liked enough together to use in bigger pieces, so I'm just using the denim floral and this polka dot paper with the wood grain, and then I'm going to move straight on to building the other side of the layout. So I knew that as well as using paper strips and banners, I wanted to incorporate some of the cut aparts from the Jen Hadfield sheet that I got. So I'm choosing a few of my favourites here. There's two, one that says I adore you, one that says hello, and one that says best day ever. And I'm just using my Fiskars trimmer to chop those into smaller strips. I do have one here that says smile that I've previously cut out, but I did think that it was a little bit too wide to work with the sketch. So I'm currently cutting out some strips from my paper scraps. I wanted to make sure that I used all of the paper I could before chopping into a new piece from the pad, and I do as well take pieces from these cut apart sheets. I use both of the cut apart sheets that are in the paper pad, and I'm just going to cut a random assortment here of strips in various thicknesses and sizes, and I will come back to you once I've done that. Okay, so now I have all of my paper strips and my die cuts ready to go. As I was recording this and creating the layout, I was staring almost straight at the sketch. I really wanted them to be as close to the sketch as possible, so I am being quite precise with where I'm putting them, and I wish I had been a little bit more random. I knew that I specifically wanted it to say hello, I adore you, but I just went for it with all of the rest of the strips and stuck them down using double-sided sticky tape. For the stitched aspect of the sketch, I'm going to attempt some hand stitching. I'm going to be using my Tim Holtz pokey tool and my metal ruler, and I'm going to poke a hole about every 1/4 inch or so. This was actually my first time with hand stitching. I've wanted to try it for so long after seeing Paige Evans and Zoe Guest doing beautiful layouts using hand stitching, but I was so nervous, but I really enjoyed it, and I really am looking forward to stitching on a different variety of layouts. So once I've poked the holes for both of the lines of stitching, which I'm showing you at the back of the card there. We're moving on to thread. I didn't have any thread in either my kit or on my add-on items, my SOS items, sorry, so I'm going to improvise. I'm going to take some of the blue and white twine in the navy colour. I'm going to separate it into navy and white, and then I'm going to use that navy twine as thread. I'm not using any specific sewing needle or a paper crafting needle. I'm using just one of the darning ones that comes in a vintage pack from my nana, and I'm not sure even if they make them the same anymore, but I chose the one with the biggest hole, and I'm just going to do a very simple stitch, going through and looping it back. And then once I've finished with my stitching, I'm going to secure the ends and protect it using some washi tape on the back. Okay, so now I'm checking the placement of my photo on the right hand side, and I've decided I wanted to use some of the vellum. I'm just going to stick it down using some more double-sided sticky tape and then roughly chop with my scissors a square around. I'm trying not to be too precise, and I will actually crinkle it up just a little bit to give a little bit more texture. Okay, so now I'm going to take my 2-inch hole punch and punch out 2 different circles from the same piece of vellum, and I'm going to stick them both together, and then I'm going to add some embellishments on top. If you notice on the sketch, there's a circle element right on the corner of the photo, so that's the cluster I'm going to be working on. Okay, starting with the stickers from the Simple Stories Love and Adore sticker sheet, I'm taking 2 of these open heart stickers in yellow and dark grey, and I'm just going to staple them through the middle, add a piece of double-sided sticky tape on the back. I'm then going to place this on the side for just a second while I look through the die cut pack from the same collection, and I'm actually going to take a yellow banner that says "You're my sweetheart" and place that at the bottom of the circle, and then I'm going to stick that onto the layout. Once that's stuck down, I'm then going back to the sticky sheet, and this time I'm going to choose some of the word strips, and I decided to go for a few. One that says "You are my happy," one that says "Forever yours," one that says "This is love," and "You're a keeper," and I'm just going to be placing those around the different layers and trying to match them roughly with similar colours. I did also add a sticker on the right hand side that says "You and me" in the top of the photo. Although it doesn't mention any accents there on the sketch, I decided I wanted to add just a little something there, and I will revisit that in a little while. Now I'm going to start working on my title. In the beginning I chose some cards from the cut apart sheet, and I'm actually going to be using this one that says "Best Day Ever." I've chopped it up so that it isn't vertical anymore, and I've laid them out so it still reads "Best Day Ever," and I'm going to take these black alphas from the Simple Stories sticker sheet and put "the" so it reads "The Best Day Ever." Okay, so now I'm going back to the die cut pack again, and I'm going to try to find some embellishments to just finish off that top hand corner. I'm going to choose 2 different hearts. One of them is this yellow heart that you can see there, and the other one is in that same pale blue as the sticker that I've put there already, and I'm just going to use some of my tacky glue with my new fine liner bottle, and I'm going to layer those over the top of each other. If you're a regular watcher of my channel, you will know that 99.9% of everything I stick down is stuck with double-sided sticky tape. However, I have been starting to notice the tape actually drying out or things starting to fall off. So I'm wondering if you have a preference. Do you find it better with wet glue or with double-sided sticky tape? Because I'm getting a bit fed up with things falling off and not staying the way they were when they're created. Next, I'm going to be using my mist to create some splatters. I'm using the navy Heidi Swap colour shine and my silver distress ink, and I'm going to be just splattering those in the opposite corners and a little bit around the cluster in the middle. So next up on the sketch there was some lines for journaling next to the strips. So I have this stamp from Studio Calico, which is, I believe, is ledger paper style, and I'm going to take that and some black StazOn ink and stamp that just underneath the photo. It's the perfect size and I do love the way it came out. Once I've cleaned off my stamp, I'm just going to take an ordinary black biro and handwrite my journaling. I did go way too mushy with my journaling, but if you'd like to know what that says, either send me a message or leave a comment below and I can let you know. And that's my layout done. Please don't forget to head over to Julia's channel if you haven't already and check out the beautiful layout that she's created. There is stills and close-up pictures coming just now. Thank you so much for watching the video. Please thumbs it up if you've enjoyed it. Please subscribe to my channel if you're new and leave any questions or comments in the comments section below. I will see you next week with part 7 of the Fake It and Make It series.